Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. As the moderator just said, it's the last day, and it's the day that we have to be alive, happy, and excited about what we are going to present. I know many of you could be tired, you could have had enough of information, but this is very important information for all of you to partake. So as introduced, I'll be taking you through the oil and gas projects in Uganda and the investment opportunities therein. Just to take you through the introduction, some of you may not know where Uganda is. We're talking about the governance structure in the industry, the legal and regulatory framework, then the sedimentary basin, a little bit of technical, and the licenses that have been issued, as well as oil and gas projects updates and opportunities therein, and then I will conclude. An overview on Uganda. Uganda is in the East African region, just to the south of Southern Sudan, to the west of Kenya, to the east of Democratic Republic of Congo, and to the north of Rwanda and Tanzania. As of 2024, Uganda has a population of 45.9 million, and we have a GDP of 45.56 billion US dollars. Uganda is a land-linked country with access to the coast, that is the Indian Ocean, through either Tanzania or Kenya. Following the discovery of commercial oil and gas resources in the country in 2006, the government of Uganda embarked on putting in place a robust legal, regulatory, and institutional framework. The oil and gas sector in the country is governed by 4 key institutions of government. That is the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, that is responsible for policy formulation, investor promotion and licensing. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda is responsible for regulating the upstream and the midstream sectors at the moment and ensuring compliance of these operations. The Uganda National Oil Company is responsible for handling the commercial aspects of petroleum activities on behalf of the state in the country. And we have the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development that is responsible for the fiscal regimes. In addition to the 4 institutions of government, Uganda embraces the regulatory best practice and also recognizes the contributions Apologies for the technical glitch, please.
All right, as we wait for the power to be restored, Dr. Chichonja, I'm really curious, how has your experience of the South African city of Cape Town has been so far?
Thank you very much. I'm always fascinated by being in Africa, and especially being in South Africa, because thank you very much. I'm always fascinated by Africa, and particularly in South Africa, because that was one of my dreams way back in the early 2000s. Don't talk about the age, but in the early 2000s, one of the destination places I wanted to be was in South Africa because of their energetic dance. So I'm excited when I'm here, and especially the Mapiano, only that my bones cannot really support that, but I can only do a simple move of the Mapiano. Thank you.
I can teach you, it's called the pouncing cat. So what you do is you fold your arm like your hand like this, then you move it back and forward. So, like that, pouncing cat. So officially, you know how to do at least one move.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then how is the food, the people, the culture?
The food, the people. I like the amakwinya.
Oh yes, my favorite.
I like the amakwinya, and because it is something that I'm used to in my country, my favorite, that is the half cake and my sweet tooth. So it's something that I like being here. But also the people, I like the accent because of the way they pronounce my language. My name, because sometimes I may think they're not calling me. They make it sound so good that it's not Chichoncho, but something else. Could you pronounce my name in Kosa? No, Kiconco.
In Kosa.
In Kosa. Exactly. So it sounds different from Chichoncho, so I like the way it is sounding. Yeah.
But then now, if you were to compare the cultures and the traditions between South Africa and your native country, how similar and how different are they?
Before I start the comparison, definitely Uganda is the best place you can have because we have good people. Just look at some few Ugandan beautiful girls around here and some gentlemen at the front. Uganda is the best place you can be. They have the best smiles. They're always welcoming. But nonetheless, South Africa is a good place to be because they're welcoming. We are happy here and we are good to stay. Only that they gave us a very short-term visa. So I don't know what we're going to do about it.
Yeah, me too. I'm really sad, because today is the final day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like our power has been restored. Doctor, over to you.
Thank you very much. I think also the technical systems understand that it's day 4, but there's nothing that beats the right attitude. Regardless of what happens, we are up to it and we're going to make it. So as the systems went off, I was talking about the regulatory framework and the governance, sector governance, having the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development for policy, the Petroleum Authority of Uganda for regulation, the Uganda National Oil Company for commercial aspects, and the Ministry of Finance for handling the monies. As I indicated, Uganda embraces the best practice for regulatory and recognizes other institutions of government and also stakeholders based on their mandate. For example, the National Environmental Management Authority for handling environmental aspects, the Bank of Uganda, the Ministry of Labor, many other institutions of government. Based on their mandate, they are handling the oil and gas sector in the country. Also, we talk about a robust legal and regulatory framework that governs the sector, starting with the National Oil and Gas Policy that was put in place in 2008. We have various acts. We have regulations that are supposed to operationalize these acts. We have host government contracts, for example, the production sharing agreements. We have intergovernmental agreements and other commercial agreements that are supposed to guide the way the oil and gas sector should be managed. So we have a robust regulatory and legal framework that is really good for investment in the country. A little bit about the geology and geoscience and the licensing in the country. Uganda having been in East Africa and landlocked, but we are part of the East African rift system when we come to geography, and we have 6 sedimentary basins, of which the Albertine Graben, if you look at the map on the extreme right, but also the left side of the map, is the most prospective. That's where all the oil and gas activities are currently taking place. Then what happens to the 5 basins? They are being investigated further so that we can have more and more. In terms of success rate, 121 wells, exploration and appraisal wells, were drilled in the country, and of these, 106 wells encountered hydrocarbon, giving an unprecedented success rate of over 85. What a country to be in. So we have the resources that have been established, estimated at 6.5 billion barrels of oil in place, of which 1.4 is estimated to be recoverable. And all this is actually out of less than 20% that has been licensed to 5 oil companies that is the Total Energies, Sinok Uganda Limited, Uganda National Oil Company, Oranto Petroleum, Ama Energy, and DGR Global. The 9 production licenses that have been issued in the country are carried by Total Energies, Sinok Uganda Limited, and UNOC, and the 5 exploration licenses are handled by Oranto Petroleum, DGR Global, and the Uganda National Oil Company. That is the status of licensing in the country. So allow me to talk a little bit about the Uganda National Oil Company. The Uganda National Oil Company was established by an act of parliament, that is the Upstream Act and the Midstream Acts of 2013, and incorporated in 2015 as a limited liability company that is wholly owned by the government of Uganda. Our shareholders are the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development and Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, holding 51% and 49% respectively. Our mandate, as I indicated, is to handle the state's commercial interests in the petroleum sector, but also importantly, to build in-depth expertise in the oil and gas sector on behalf of the state. The Uganda National Oil Company, young as it is, we have 2 wholly owned subsidiaries. That is the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, that is responsible for refining and petrochemical business, and the Uganda National Pipeline Company, that is responsible for the pipelines, transportation, and storage. The Uganda National Oil Company is an integrated company and manages a portfolio of projects across the entire value chain, that is the upstream, midstream, and the downstream. In the upstream, we manage state participation in the production licenses, but also we look at exploration and new ventures, given the mandate of ensuring sustainability of production in the country. We are also responsible for trading the crude entitlement on behalf of the government of Uganda. In the midstream, we have the refinery to add value to the country. We have the Kawalega Industrial Park, which is a petrol-based industry park, as well as the crude oil pipeline, the East African Oil Crude Pipeline. In the downstream, we are handling and managing the storage terminals to ensure the security of supply in the country, as well as the downstream products trading to ensure the security of supply, as well as managing the pump prices. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give a little brief highlights on the projects that I've talked about that the country or the Uganda National Oil Company is managing on the behalf of the country. Talking about the Tilenga project, this is a development project that is operated by Total Energies. The shareholders are Sinok Uganda Limited and Uganda National Oil Company, handling the 15%, 28.33 and 56.67 as they appear on the screen. The project is an 874 2P million barrels, of which we're looking at the capacity of 190 barrels of the CPF capacity that is being constructed, and about 427 wells will be drilled on 31 well pads. In terms of progress, drilling is progressing with 4 rigs, which commenced in June 2023, and as we stand today, we are at 73 wells drilled, and we are moving very well in terms of progress. The EPC progress is at 52 for the CPF, and flow lines at 42% as at the end of August. When we go to the Kingfisher project, that is another development project that is being operated by Sinok Uganda Limited. The shareholders are 2 Total Energies and Uganda National Oil Company, holding the same equity. It's a 186 million barrels of 2P reserves with a capacity of 40,000 barrels per day to be produced. 31 wells will be produced on 4 well pads. In terms of drilling progress, we're standing at 11 wells having been completed as at the end of September, and the EPC progress stands at 71% as at August 2024. the Kasurubani project, a project that is dear to my heart, and I believe is dear to the country, that is a license that was granted to the Uganda National Oil Company following participation in a competitive licensing round that was concluded in 2023. So the Uganda National Oil Company signed a production license with the government of Uganda and was awarded a license to operate the Kasurubani block. We are 100% equity holder and we are the operator. The size of the block is about 1,285 square kilometers, and we intend to deliver this project through a joint venture partnership model. This block is very prospective because it lies just to the south of the Tilenga fields that are already being developed for production. In terms of the work program, we have really committed to an intensive work program, and we are in the second year of the first exploration period, where we promise to deliver technical studies, seismic acquisition and processing. And these are currently ongoing well, and we are in the process of applying for the renewal of a license to be able to go into the second phase, where we will progress the technical studies, we will acquire more seismic to understand the block better, as well as undertake the drilling of an exploration well in the next 1 or 2 years. It has good quality data ranging from the wells that have been drilled, and all these wells encountered hydrocarbons. We have 3 wells that have been drilled. We have seismic approximating to 1,909 kilometers of 2D, very good quality data. We have G&G reports as well as gravity and magnetics data. In terms of prospectivity of this contract area, we are approximating about over 500 million barrels of oil in place. And as you look at the slides, we're looking at the good quality seismic data. I believe there are some geoscientists here that will look at the data. We have the wells. We have also the map or the pictures that were taken during the surface geological mapping. So all in all, we're looking at an area that is highly prospective with a working petroleum system in place. We have 9 structures that have been mapped on seismic that are being investigated further to better enhance the prospectivity of the block. STOIP is in excess of 500, and there are discoveries in the block. All the wells that we drilled encountered hydrocarbons, which gives a working petroleum system to be in place. We have offshore and stratigraphic trap potential, which have not been drilled, but from the seismic interpretation, there is potential and structures that have been mapped, as well as the surface manifestations. You can imagine looking at the oil on the surface. What would happen in the subsurface or underneath? So when you look at the bottom left, the bottom right of the slide, you look at an oil-stained sandstone, and this is on the ground. That doesn't mean that it has escaped from the subsurface. It means that it is a manifestation and not all of it is escaped. And also importantly, the proximity to the Tilenga development projects, which is already successful. Investment opportunities in the Kasurubani contract area. The opportunities range from the technical studies and consultancy services. We have the drilling and well services, as well as the support services, general services, logistics, waste management, to mention but a few. Just a little bit of the update of the opportunities that are already ongoing. Technical studies we have undertaken. We are currently undertaking the basin analysis and petrophysical analysis with a consultant in our office. The petroleum resources assessment will be undertaken based on the results of the basin analysis and petrophysical studies. Contracting is ongoing. 2D seismic acquisition and processing. For the 2D seismic reprocessing, that is the data that we acquired along with the license, having been acquired a long time ago, we thought would reprocess it to enhance the imaging of the subsurface. And the contract was awarded, and reprocessing is currently ongoing. Seismic acquisition and processing, because of the sparse nature of the lines that were acquired, we are currently going to do additional infill seismic so that we are able to understand these prospects much better. There are general and administrative services. These ones happen as and when, and these include all services like insurance, training, fuel and hospitality, among others. We look at QHAC systems or HSC systems, and these happen all the time because of the nature of the industry and the intention and the stringent nature that we look at when it comes to safety. As I indicated, the delivery model for the license is through a joint venture partnership, and at an opportune time, the Uganda National Oil Company will be announcing the process for the commencement of a selection of a joint venture partner. And ladies and gentlemen, I invite you, your institution, to participate in this because the block is really highly prospective. And oil field services will be available as and when, especially during the next phase when we intend to drill some wells. One thing that I need to talk about is that in the country, we are looking at ring-fenced opportunities. There are services, about 16 services that have been ring-fenced for Ugandan companies. And please, you're welcome to read about what a Ugandan company is, or you're welcome to our booth so that we can explain to you what a Ugandan company is. A Ugandan company is not necessarily a company that is owned by a Ugandan, but legally there are certain things they consider for a Ugandan company to partake. So please don't be discouraged when they indicate it's ring-fenced for Uganda and you say, since I'm South African, I'll not be able to participate. Kindly come and join us. We can take you through what a Ugandan company is. So then I was so swamped into the Kasurubani because it's dear to my heart. But we have different other projects. That is the East African crude oil pipeline. As I indicated, Uganda is land-linked and has no access to the coast. But in order to commercialize the crude that is going to be produced from the Tilenga and Kingfisher, the East African crude oil pipeline is being constructed to be able to transport the crude from Tilenga and Kingfisher projects to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. In terms of design and engineering, they have been undertaken up to 66% by Wally. Civil works in terms of construction and site activities are currently ongoing, with the camps and pipe yards being done and station points, as well as the construction. To note is the construction of the thermal insulation plant and coating plant that was concluded and completed in March 2024, and coating of the 500 kilometer pipes that have arrived is currently ongoing. The ECOP is planned to be commissioned in 2025. The Uganda refinery is another project that is dear to the government of Uganda because of the value addition that is associated to it. The Uganda National Oil Company will hold 40% in the refinery, which is a 60,000 barrels per day oil refinery that will be located in the country. The configuration is a residual catalytic cracker, and it is associated with the 211 kilometer product pipeline that will transport the refined products from the refinery area to a storage terminal near Kampala. Kampala is the capital city of Uganda. The products will include LPG, gasoline, jet fuel, diesel, and many other products that will come out of it. Following the expiry of a project framework agreement in June 2023, the government has progressed the refinery project as a public sector led. The FEED and Asia have been completed. The resettlement action plans for the water abstraction and also for the multi-product pipelines have been completed. The commercial agreements, that is pre-FID agreements, with the refinery developer are currently going on, and we expect to be completed, FID to be done in 2025. There is plenty of opportunities that are associated with the refinery, from employment, engineering and G&G services. We're looking at trading of the refinery products. We're looking at operational support and maintenance, and many other businesses that will spin off from the refinery. The Kabalega Industrial Park. The Kabalega Industrial Park is a petrol-based industry park that will be located in the country. And the land, which is about 29.57 square kilometers, have been acquired by the government of Uganda, and it's located where the refinery is going to be. The industrial park will accommodate Uganda's second international airport, which is nearly complete at about 95%, the crude export hub, the delivery point for the upstream, the refinery, and different other petrol-based industries that will be set up in the country. Beyond that, we'll look at commercial, retail, and healthcare, as well as residential services and other facilities within. In terms of the progress, the master plan was approved. The acquisition of a joint venture partner is currently going on. The land allocation policy is getting approved by cabinet. A design of facilities and infrastructure is going on, and Strategic Asia has commenced. In terms of opportunities, likewise, like the refinery, there's going to be employment, direct and indirect, the supply of goods and services to support the different businesses that are going to be set up in the industrial park. There are opportunities for partaking, and they range from engineering, construction, heavy machinery, and all that, and other general services that will be available in the park. The storage terminals. The Uganda National Oil Company has a mandate to manage and operate storage terminals, and the intention is to ensure the security of supply of products in the country. Uganda National Oil Company is currently managing and operating the Ginger Storage Terminal that is located in the eastern part of the country. It's a 300 million litre capacity storage terminal and is being operated by the Uganda National Oil Company as a 100% share holding. We're looking at the storage terminal being used by the bulk trading products that have been coming in Uganda, and as a hospitality center for the different OMCs or oil marketing companies that are coming into the country. We are using rail also to bring the products into the country, and plans are underway to construct facilities for receiving the products through the barge via the Lake Victoria. Another big storage terminal is a 320 million litre Kampala storage terminal that will be located near Kampala, that is the capital of the country. And it is going to be a central hub for storage and distribution of the refined products. UNOC will hold 51%, and the private investors will hold 49%. Land has been acquired, the business case has been approved and completed, and the partner has been secured for the development of the storage terminal. Important to note also is the bulk trading. The Uganda National Oil Company commenced the bulk trading in fuel in products in March 2020. The intention was to enhance the security of supply of products, to generate revenue for the country, support the storage terminals, and also build the capacity of a national oil company to trade in the products that will come out of the refinery. Important to note, in November 2023, the Uganda National Oil Company was granted a mandate to be a sole importer of petroleum products, and the purpose is to ensure security of supply, to contribute the reduction of the pump prices, and also to provide additional revenue. I can attest that this has already been achieved, and we continue to aim further. Our partner Vitol is already working, and the first fuel vessel was received in July 2024. As you can see through the pictures, the excitement of the top management and the minister receiving these in Mombasa. The country is also going to ensure LPG and lubricants trading, and the intention is to really ensure that we go green, provide cleaner cooking services for the country, and the business plan is being put in place. Why do we need to invest in the country? Uganda's oil and gas sector is growing in terms of resources, legal, regulatory, and institutional framework, as well as infrastructure to support the resource development. Uganda welcomes investors to develop the country's natural resources through the mutual benefit and cooperation. There are many incentives to invest in Uganda. We are looking at political and economic stability across the country, favorable legal and regulatory framework, an enabling oil and gas infrastructure that has already been set up, and access to existing technology. Important to note is that for you to do business in the country, we need to have registration on the National Supplier Database that is being managed by the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, that is the regulator. The link is over there, registration is free and seamless, so you should be able to do business. It's not a deterrent to doing business in the country, but it's to ensure that due diligence is undertaken on the companies that are going to do business in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Do we have any questions for her? I can take just one question from the floor. Any question? Going once? Oh.
Good morning, and thank you for your presentation. When it comes to the logistics to support the oil and gas activity, are there still room for companies to come in and invest in Uganda? Actually, let me introduce myself. My name is Joachim, and I work for Sonils in Angola, which is also a logistics support base. And the question here is, to what extent would it make sense to visit and maybe look into what opportunities are there, if still are there, because I saw that you guys are already trying to get companies and partners to work with you. Are we still in time to come in and visit?
Thank you so much, Joachim. There are plenty of opportunities for the logistics. And I would like to invite you to Uganda to participate in the National Content Conference that will happen in the last week of November, where the different oil companies and service providers will be showcasing the different opportunities that exist. So there you will be able to see where it exists, for what business, for how long, and the timelines. It would be an opportunity for you to visit. But beyond that, you're very welcome to our booth here. We'll take you through the various opportunities that we have so that you can structure your business to support that. Logistics is a service that is acceptable, that is always running, and we believe there's plenty of opportunities because the industry in Uganda is still growing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Loida, for that insightful presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give her another round of applause. Thank you.